everyone, I'm Andrea, and you are watching Kitchen Conversations, and we're coming to you live from the Secret Kitchen. My guest today is Vivian Becker, who is a baker. I want to say that correctly, Becker the baker. Hi, Vivian. Thanks for being with me today.
Hi, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure, because you like to bake like I like to bake. I think you might be 5 notches above me, though.
I'm 5 notches above everybody else.
But
when it comes to baking.
But I think, you know what? That's a good thing.
Yes, I put a lot of pride into it. I put 100% into everything that I do.
So let's talk about baking. And so where did this love come from?
It actually came from my aunt, Lily. Every time I came over and with my husband or my boyfriend at the time, she would just put out a spread, and she says, no diets, because she knew me. I was always watching, what I was eating. It's just no diets. When you come here, you have to have it. Her specialty was like the cream puffs and the eclairs and just everything that I liked, she wanted to make, and especially for my husband too, or my boyfriend at the time.
And always from scratch?
Always from scratch. Always.
So before that, did your mom bake?
My mom was more the cook, and her sisters were the bakers. I remember them just, sitting together and making food for the functions, and we had a lot of them. So they would all sit in the kitchen and just make everything for all their functions. They never really catered in. They made everything from scratch. So
I admire that. My ex-in-laws were like that. I felt like they ran a catering service, but it was their family. So I totally get that, and I like that, actually.
It was just nice to see. Now my daughters do the same thing. If there's a function, I do a lot of the cooking, but they always come over and
help you?
And help, yes. Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to baking, because so your mom really wasn't a baker per se.
No.
So were you baking as a kid?
You know what? Not really. Not really. She was a type that really didn't want me in the kitchen too much. I mean, I did help, of course, but if I wasn't cooking, she's like, okay,
I had that myself.
Or clean up, or go set up the table. That's what I was able to help with her.
Yeah. Setting the table was a task that was like, Andrea, set the table. Yes. So I know, Andrea, clear the table.
Yes. Then she'd be like, okay, no, fork goes here. Cup
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, Andrea, is this how you set the table?
Right.
Yeah. So
that just. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
So now Aunt Lily was.
Yes.
You would go to Aunt Lily's house, and she put on a.
Yes, she would have such a spread.
Do you know when a Viennese table at a wedding? I don't know. Do people still say that expression?
Yes. Yes.
In case people don't know what that is, why don't you share that?
It's just a table filled with all mini desserts.
Every dessert,
everything that you
man.
can think of. Baklava, mini cakes, truffles, just everything all set up nicely.
And typically, like at a wedding or a function like that. Yeah. But it sounds like your aunt was having it in the house.
Yes, she always hosted any of the holidays. We would come over, and she would just, just prepare us so many nice, dishes.
So she was your inspiration.
Yes.
And so how did you get into doing it?
Okay, so unfortunately she had passed away pretty young. So the first thing that my cousins did was give me her recipe book, because she knew.
Really? That's so nice.
They knew how much I loved her stuff. Right. So I have a little recipe book with her cream puff recipe and her eclair recipe and little cookies and cakes. And I was hooked on it since. I said, I'm going to honor her. And she always did a lot of volunteering, so that's what I wanted to honor her with also, or in her memory. So that's what I did. I started to volunteer and bake for the elderly, or bake for kids with cancer or stuff like that, special needs.
That's a nice way to use your skill.
First responders. Yeah, I figured that if I have the skill, I have to do it for something for good.
So now you've got your aunt's recipe book. You're baking up a storm.
Yes.
Did your family reap the rewards as well?
Oh, yes. And then I spoiled them. They're not going to appreciate me saying this, but it's okay.
Well, my family knows when they come here, they're going to always get,
Yes. Even no matter what time at night. I would just, they would say, "Oh, I feel like having cookies," or my husband would say, "I feel like having cookies." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll get up."
I'll get up and bake them?
I got up. I made it from scratch.
Oh, Vivian, you are good. You are good.
One time my daughter wasn't feeling well. She had her surgeries and she was finally hungry. And I went downstairs and made pasta from scratch. And I made her the pasta.
I might have to.
1 o'clock in the morning. I have the video of it and everything. Okay, you're lucky I love you.
So, yikes! That's. I think I want to come live with you for a while.
Come on over.
Come on right over.
Come on.
So I know, like me, you took a lot of inspiration from the Food Network.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Where did you? Well, first of all, before we even talk about the Food Network, so what kind of became your specialty items that when we would go to, if we're going to Vivian's, people are going to say, "Oh, we're going to Vivian's. She's going to have
chocolate cake with my chocolate ganache."
All right, a good
topping, and sometimes a little pudding filling. Depends on what I feel like doing that night or who's coming over. I like to accommodate whatever someone likes. I like.
Oh, you are good.
Whatever someone likes, I just make. I make a whole bunch of stuff. This way, everybody's happy.
So beyond the chocolate cake, what else are you known for?
I do a lot of my chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, all right, chocolate is.
They get nice, chewy, almost brownie-like cookies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert, we're going to be tasting something a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But all right, so the Food Network, again, it played a big role in your interest in all of this. So tell me about that.
I first started watching the Cake Boss. Okay, they're amazing, to say the least. I would just sit and watch in awe all the ways they created the cakes, and
they were gorgeous.
The mechanics, this, that, and they were also it was just inspiring to watch them. So I would binge watch that. Then I would go on to Sunny Anderson, The Kitchen, and even when she was, on her earlier shows, the Real Sunny Show.
Yep.
I can watch her all day. I just love her. She's just so real, and just like her show, she is just real.
So you have an interesting little anecdote about Sunny Anderson that you shared a little while ago.
That I actually went to the taping of the kitchen show.
Right.
Yeah, and
that's fun.
I actually DM'd her when I was there, and she came out, and it was just the best day of my life. It seemed like.
We talked about this earlier. What's really fun to watch when you go to a taping of a food show is that they what you see on TV looks nothing like what's going on in the studio.
Right.
Because there's a kitchen, there's all the behind the scenes.
Yes, the cameras,
and in between,
makeup crew.
Yeah, and in between, it's like 50 people race out of the kitchen, clear the table, bring the next thing out.
Yes.
And I always think, well, can we get some of those in the secret kitchen? Because, that's pretty wild.
Well, you do very good here.
Well, thank you. But a crew of 10 would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That would be pretty amazing.
And I need the makeup crew.
all of us. Who's currently some of your favorite Food Network folks that you like to watch for baking?
I always watch a baking championship, so it's Stephanie Boswell, Zach Young, Nancy Fuller. Oh, she's great.
I like Nancy Fuller.
I love her. She's so.
I like her a lot.
She's so sweet, and I feel that that's her personality in real life. She's just. I'm going to tell you like a grandma style.
What hooked me on her, and I can't. She doesn't call them. What does she call rules? She calls them.
The kitchen rules.
Kitchen rules. Yeah. So what hooked me on Nancy Fuller? I watched her years ago. She did a brownie recipe, and she put a whole can of cherry pie filling in the brownie recipe.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, oh, That's nice.
Yeah, it's almost like a black forest
Yes,
kind of.
yes.
brownie.
She incorporated it right in there.
Yeah.
So I've done that over the years. I've made brownies. With,
Yeah, and it came out.
I
have to try
it
that.
came out
I have to try
fantastic.
that.
But that was from Nancy Fuller. I like her very
I love
much.
all her recipes and stuff like that. I actually try out everybody's recipes. Every time I watch a show, I have to get up and cook or bake. That's me. Like, what are you doing now? I'm baking. What are you baking?
Wow. Well, listen. I relate to this very, very strongly. So, what is something you haven't baked yet that you have a plan to do?
Like the meringue pies, that I've never done before.
Any particular?
Like the lemon. I love the lemon.
So, why have you never done that?
I don't know. I end up just sticking with a lot of chocolate, or
Hey,
I love playing with chocolate.
You can never go wrong with chocolate.
I also like making the chocolate truffles. Yeah, but I think that's basically what I would like to learn how to
Do meringues?
make. Yeah.
Okay.
Meringues or like the macarons, I have to like perfect them.
Yeah,
Those are very.
I've never done those. I've never done those either.
They're temperamental.
I'm intrigued by that. But now let's share. You have a story where you actually won an award.
Yes.
So let's share that because
That's my pride.
and it should be. So please share that.
Thank you. Okay, well,
I'm sitting here with an award-winning baker, Vivian Becker, the baker. Boy,
Vivian
try
Becker.
saying that fast 3 times.
Yeah, with a mouthful of cake.
Which will come later. Okay.
Right, okay.
So share that story because that's a good one.
Thank you. So, every year I saw in the paper Monmouth County Fair, the baking, decoration contest. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. What does it hurt? So
You're baking anyway.
Right, exactly. So I may as well do it. And so what happened was I said, you know what, let me just do something different for a change and do the decorated cakes. That's with the fondant and all that stuff. I never worked with fondant before. Okay, so I said, you know what else can I make? Dunkin' Donuts mug. And fake donuts, it looked so real that when I pulled in, there was actually cops, guiding, and they said, "Oh, donuts." I said, "I wish I can give you." I said,
How
"But
crazy
it's
is
not
that?
real. It's not real, donuts. I would love to give you, but So that day, it was like a crazy day in the house, and we were supposed to go somewhere, and then it was taking me longer to come back home for from the contest, and just the whole day was just tumult. Okay, tumult, as they say.
That word says it all.
Yeah, right. So when it comes time to go see if I won, I was like, all right, I probably didn't win because I never worked with fondant before. And also that day, my daughter actually entered the contest by herself. I always want to get them involved and just inspire them and just push them to just do whatever they want, and just go for it. So she did everything by herself, by the way. I didn't help her one bit. Anyway, so I went back to the fair to check it out, and I was actually bypassing all the ones with the ribbons because I really didn't think that I won. So I said, "What happened to my cake?" I'm like, well, did they throw it out? What? They didn't like it? I don't know. So then all of a sudden, I look in the corner of my eye, I see a red ribbon on the decorated cake. And then a first place ribbon on the chocolate cake that I was talking about.
And that was your cake.
And that was my cake. I was jumping up and down. My girls were jumping. They were so excited.
So to be clear, you won first prize?
I won second for that one, and then first one for my chocolate cake that I've been winning for years.
Well, that's, awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We don't have an applause button, so, we have
Thank
to do
you
this
so
by
much.
hand.
Thank you.
So, really, how did that feel?
That was not, besides the ribbon, I won my pride. And I won showing the girls that if you really want to do something, you just go for it.
That's right.
And even if you don't win, it's okay. You tried your best. That's what I told my daughter when but what happens? What if someone else, what if their parents helped? I said, it doesn't matter. You didn't. You didn't get any help. And, you know, just to see her win also was amazing.
Well, that's really that. Well, first of all, I love that you entered it, and I love that you and your daughter both won.
Yes.
And you know, it's like the validation. You probably figured you were a good baker, but
right. But I didn't think I was gonna win.
It's
like,
different
you know,
when strangers say,
yes,
"Oh, you're a good baker."
Yeah, that
feels pretty
yeah,
good,
that was
right?
amazing. And then when it comes time to go home, I actually see a big Dunkin' Donuts truck. They actually stopped me because it was a big mug with all these donuts. They were actually taking pictures of it and stuff like that. And I was like, and someone said, "Oh, you know, what do you win?" I said, "Just a ribbon." And I said, "Oh, too bad, you know, it's not money." I said, "It doesn't matter.
No,
It's not all about getting the money. It's about feeling that you achieved something and you went for your goal. You went for what you wanted to do, and you did it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to teach the girls also.
well, I
have
feel
3
like
girls.
that. I mean, that's a lesson for everyone. You know,
Yes.
one of the things when we met, I was talking about the 4 agreements.
Yes.
And one of them is always do your best.
Yes, and that's what resonated with me.
Exactly. So whether you're cooking dinner, you're baking chocolate chip cookies, whatever you're doing, if you're 10 years old, 50 years old, whatever, you always do your best.
Right, and if you have fails, it's okay too.
That's how you learn. Oh,
Yes.
my baking
Then you just
fails
keep trying
are
again.
legendary. I
You know,
have failed. Yeah, of course.
You don't give up.
No.
You just keep going. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, because even on the shows that I watch, there's fails.
Oh, and you know, I feel like that makes them so human when
Yes.
someone on TV who you think is, oh my God, Ina Gartner or whoever, they're like the best, but they
Right.
make mistakes too.
Yeah, like in all the baking contests and stuff, and I see the cake crumbling. I said, "Oh, that's happened."
Well, you know,
That's happened to me
so
recently.
Ina would always say, well, it's rustic, it's okay.
There you go.
So I say the same thing.
Okay.
So if you ever come to my house and I say this is very rustic, you know
Yes.
there was a fail in there somewhere, but I don't really care because it still tastes delicious.
Exactly.
And no one's ever complained.
Right. I had just recently, I had a lot of people over, and it looked a little bit overdone, the crisp topping from my apple pie.
A little overdone.
Yeah. And "Oh, you burnt it, I said, "I didn't burn it. It tastes just fine. It's a caramelization. It's caramelized.
Excellent.
It's caramelized. It's not,
Oh, I love that. I love that you said that.
it's not burnt. It's caramelized." Use that on the next fail.
So you know what? We're going to be right back, and then we're going to get to taste some of Vivian's cake, all right? Be right back.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back, and not only are we back, but here is, well, I'm going to let Vivian tell you what we have here.
Okay.
Look at this.
This is the cake that I first entered into the Monmouth County Fair. It's a chocolate cake with chocolate ganache frosting and a little bit of sprinkles on top just for a little crunch and a little texture. And we can break into it now if you want.
Yes, of course. Well, first of all,
It's a very easy recipe. It's friendly, It's very easy for you to follow. It's one bowl and
One
that's
bowl.
it. Yeah, one bowl.
oh, all right. Well, great news is that Vivian has very kindly agreed to share her recipe, which will be in the comments. So you can check it out and let us know if you decide to make it. So, of course, I love that you're kind of matching your cupcake.
Yeah.
So sweet.
I try.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's.
And there's a little bit of gold shimmer on
I see
it to
it.
match
Oh
with
my God.
my
Yes.
buttons and my earrings,
So this is your cake recipe in cupcake form.
Yes.
Okay, we want to say that. 'Cause
Yes, we can. It makes one big bundt cake and about 24 cupcakes. It's a large recipe, but
24 cupcakes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, so that is a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so
it goes a long way,
Oh.
basically. So
Excellent.
Here we go. I'll take the.
we're going to
fork.
use forks because, trying to be somewhat neat.
So I just
So
want to show you the
it's-
crumb on it.
super chocolatey.
Yes, as soon as you open it up, you
It's-
can smell the chocolate.
Yes.
And it's
Oh
also
my
made
God.
with a little bit of coffee. And I use chocolate extract, which I make from scratch as well.
Chocolate extract?
Yes, I make the chocolate extract and the vanilla extract from scratch. And the tip is to have the best quality chocolate that you can. Yes, it can get a little bit expensive, but you know, it's definitely makes a difference.
It's
And I hope
very chocolatey.
So yeah, let me know how you.
And I love using coffee.
Yes,
So what kind of chocolate do you use?
I use a Ghirardelli.
We do love Ghirardelli.
And recently, I just tried this artisan. It's actually from ShopRite, but it's an artisan chocolate. And this actually happens to be dairy-free as well for any people with
all right.
allergies.
Okay, well that's good. Okay.
And I can also let you know how to make it vegan as well, with no eggs.
Ticks all the boxes.
So we'll put, again, that's really gracious of you to share that, and all of that will be in our comments below. So I'm noticing, first of all, it's super chocolatey, which makes me happy, but it's very light. It's not a dense cake.
Right, that's what I strive for. When you're making
Very light.
decorated cakes, you need it to be a little bit more dense so it can hold the structure. But this one is actually very light. It's actually very loose to batter. So when you try this at home and it's very loose, don't worry about it. It's fine. That's just the way it's supposed to be. You know,
This is ganache.
the topping is ganache, and that recipe
good.
will be on there as well. It is so easy.
I don't even like to say it's good, because that's not enough.
Right.
But it's absolutely delicious. It's uber chocolatey.
Yes, and
So
it's not too
chocolate lovers-
sweet. You know.
No, that's another thing. I'm noticing that. Not only is the cake very light and kind of delicate, but it's not super sweet, which I like too, because sometimes cake can be so sugary and
Yes.
sweet. I don't taste
Yeah.
anything but sweet. But
Right.
I'm really getting the chocolate.
Yeah, you can add the sweetness in the filling if you wanted, or with the different kind of frosting. But when I'm gonna have chocolate, I like chocolate. I
When
wanna
you
taste
make
it.
this as a cake, you said you typically do it as a bundt cake.
I can do it as a bundt
be
cake
anything,
or
though.
a layer cake.
So when you do it as a layer cake, do you fill it with this ganache kind of filling?
I do, and one tip that I got from my friend was you melt some chocolate on top of the first layer. And then not only does it give it a crunch, like a candy crunch, but it also holds in the moisture of the cake as
And
well.
this is very moist, very delicious.
Yeah, and then you add the ganache, and then sometimes if you want a little more crunch, if you don't have any of the allergies, add the nuts or, you know, pretzels.
You could
It's
totally
endless.
totally take it over the top.
Oh yes, for sure, which I always end up doing.
Me too. You know, that's my trademark.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
start
over the
here,
top.
and by the time I'm
Oh,
done,
yeah.
it goes over the top.
Yes,
But
yes,
you
that's
know,
exactly what
I feel like, well, why wouldn't you? Why shouldn't you do that?
One
some
time
fun with it.
I made my ganache filling, which is almost like the truffle, and I had leftover brownies. So I actually, because my brownies are very fudgy, you know, so I actually folded the brownie on top of my my ganache, my
Wow.
truffle.
Wow.
And then I dipped that in chocolate, and then also put on some chocolate sprinkles. It's almost like a truffle, but it's a brownie truffle.
So is your ultimate favorite dessert, would that be something chocolate?
Yes.
Is it chocolate cake?
Chocolate cake or my chocolate truffles. That I've gotten reviews that I'm not sure I can say this on TV, but and we don't need to say anymore. No, it's
No,
My friend kicked me out. Let's just say, leave. I have your
is-
truffles, and that's all I need.
That's all we need. Well, this is really delicious, and
you.
I appreciate that you're going to share the recipe.
Yes,
Again,
for sure.
we'll all get to share,
to
an
share it.
award-winning recipe, which is really fun that you have that.
Yes, and it's my go-to recipe because, like, on Friday nights, I can't have anything dairy.
So this is
so
perfect.
that's what
This is
I
perfect.
make all the time. My mom, she had passed away, but she loved this cake into a blackout cake. I made into a blackout cake with the pudding filling and then pudding on the outside and then the cake crumbs. That was the first cake I saw her like really enjoy of mine.
That's nice.
I actually have the picture of it.
That's nice. No,
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Vivian, I am so happy that we got to share some time together.
It really means a lot that you just had me on the show. I love my baking, and
I
you
know.
let it
Well,
come.
that's
You
that
let me
is-
share it. So
Well, that's obvious. And, you know, I just feel like when you do have the passion, which you do, it's no fun if you don't share it.
right, and that's why I like to share with like the special needs kids.
I love that you do that. And that's inspirational.
You know, kids that are unfortunately going through cancer treatments. I got diagnosed during COVID, and then I saw this young girl, and I found out that she had it too. So I made her a big Elsa cake, and she was like, "How?" And the girl's reaction was just priceless. You know?
I feel like, you know, when you cook for someone, when you bake for someone, it really is an act of love and caring.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Whether it's your family or giving it to the first responders or
Yes.
anyone. Because of course you can go to, sorry Dunkin' Donuts, but you can go to Dunkin' Donuts and you could buy a box of donuts, etc. And that's lovely, a lovely gesture.
Right.
But when you bake something in your kitchen, you know,
With love.
everything that you love is an ingredient.
Yes.
And I believe that.
Oh, 100%.
I absolutely believe that.
I just, and I think everybody sees it when I bake also, when I bring in
I would think
stuff.
so.
My eyes light up and I can't help. And I don't stop talking about it.
Well, we love it. We love meeting bakers. That's my whole point of doing Kitchen Conversations, was to have these exact kind of conversations.
Good. I'm glad we both helped each other.
So thank you for being with me today.
Thank
It's really
you.
been a pleasure. And you know what? We will see you all next time on Kitchen Conversations, coming to you live from the Secret Kitchen. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.